In this video, we're going to work through the tutorial on creating your first app. Now, technically, we've already created our first app when we installed Android Studio. So we're going to start by closing this out. I'm just going to go Close Project. And this is the screen that you'll see when you start up Android Studio. So let's go ahead and start up Android Studio. Under All Programs, Android Studio, Android Studio. And you should see this screen. Now the tutorials are all under developer.android.com. If you go to the index, developers, under develop there's training, and we're going to start with this first one, building your first app. So let's work through this together. So we've already installed Android Studio and the SDK, so we're going to go to Get Started. And we're going to follow along pretty closely here. So we're going to click New Project, start a new Android Studio project. And let me make this a little smaller. Small screen, juggling windows. So the application name is MyFirstApp. My company name can be whatever you want it to be. I'm just going to leave this as the default for now. And then project location, it's a good idea to create an Android projects folder. And so I'm going to create under my C folder a new, oops, close all this stuff out. It's a new folder called Android Projects. Let's see what we did it over here. So they didn't use any spaces, so I won't use any spaces here either. So they created it under their user folder, but I'm just going to create it under C. And the rest of this should be okay. Let's go ahead and check. Let's go to Next. And I want to support phone and tablet. I'll leave the minimum SDK to be API 15. And I'm going to start with a blank activity. And then I'm going to go back here and take a look at what we have here. And it just says leave the fields as they are and click Finish, so I'll do that. So it'll take a minute or so for Android Studio to do its thing. Okay, so here's my first app coming up. Tip of the day. And let's go ahead and walk through the things that the tutorial are mentioning. Read this on your own time. But so there's an activity under my.xml file under resources layout. So resources layout activity under main. And shows us the layout of the app. There's under source Java myActivity.java. So source activities, my first app. So when you create an Android project now, it creates both a main activity and also an application test activity where you can put unit tests. We're going to go to main activity. This is the thing that controls what you see when you run the application. There's an Android manifest.xml. That's under manifests, Android manifests. There's a build.gradle. So under Gradle scripts, build.gradle for the project and also for the module. So here are the settings that specify the minimum and target SDK version. And then there's a drawable folder where we would put any graphics. And so we have launch images, which are basically the little Android icon guy that we get by default for our app at different sizes. There's a values directory, which has some resources including strings. So here's the hello world string. If we go ahead and change this to hello Mark, and we go ahead and launch Genymotion. Start. This will take a minute or so. Okay, so there's Genymotion. It's going to go ahead and boot up. Okay, swipe up. Now my emulator's running. Now I can go back here and start my app. And you'll notice it says hello Mark now. Not very exciting.